Hello, stitching friends. Today is August 13th, 2021. So happy Friday the 13th. Thank you for coming by. Oh, it's also World Cross Stitch Day. So happy World Cross Stitch Day. My name is Suzette, also known as Primitive Stitcher here on YouTube. I want to say welcome to anyone who is new. I've had an uptick in subscribers, so thank you for visiting. And thank you for all of those who have returned to visit with me. I appreciate all of you. We are going to have a little bit of a celebration at the end because I am now just slightly over 8,000 subscribers. And again, thank you. If you like what you see today, if you're new and you like what you see today, I hope you come back. Today we're going to talk about several things. I'm hoping to make this a little bit brief. It's been a crazy day, but we're going to talk about my works in progress. Well, one of those is a new start. We're going to talk about my finishes. I have some recent acquisitions, and also maybe at the end I'll talk a little bit about my thread books and journals because I've had questions about those. So to start us off, I have been doing the 2 red threads, and it's a take on several other people who are doing it, and I apologize, I don't know who the first person was who did 1 red thread before bed, but I am doing 2. So the first one that I want to show you is a new start, and it is one that I mentioned in my previous video by With Thy Needle and Thread, called L. Genders 1875. This way. It always confuses me when they're on the side. And so my process is I will do 1 red thread in the morning, and then on a different project do 1 red thread in the evening. So I'm going to show you my evening one first, clearly. And this is how far I've gotten. This has been a fairly quick stitch. And I am stitching this on the call for 36 count Winter's Brew by R&R using Gentle Art Sampler Thread Ruby Slipper, stitching at 1/2. And my original 1 red thread is from iStitch Designs, a stitch along band sampler from, was it 2019, 2020? I can't remember. Last time I was on week 8, which was down here. So I've completed week 10 and am working on week 11. Almost finished with week 11. And this is the one I do in the morning. And I'm stitching this, I think it's a 28 or 32 count. I meant to count that, using the sulky thread. And I had a question about my frame that I'm using, and it's a Frank A. Edmonds handy clamp scroll frame, and I think this is a 6-inch here. I had a hard time finding it when I looked for it. I actually ended up ordering it off of eBay. I think they have gone to an 8-inch being their smallest, and their knobs are a bit different design. I think they're a square knob, but I love it. It makes stitching on this band sampler a lot easier. So I will just continue on with those, hopefully, of the morning and evening. Next up is one that I talked about last time too. It was a stitch along for the birds. I was stitching on It's Spring Fever by Blackbird Designs. And it's almost finished. I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Not all the charts, but many of the charts have the year and or initial in them. And since I'm stitching it all on one piece, all 9 charts on one piece, I didn't want to have my initial on all the charts, or I didn't want to have the year on all the charts. So I think what I'm going to do instead now is, rather than put my initial up here, I will just pick one of these little doodads, you know, and fit it in up there so that it's not an empty space. And then only put the year and my initial, maybe see what the center one's going to be and put it on that. I also did not complete the back stitch and the Lazy Daisy stitch on this one because I want to wait and do that at the very end. I think those are stitches that might mess up easier than a regular cross stitch. So I'll wait and do that. So essentially it is a finish apart from the things that I talked about. And this, I'm stitching it on 36 count Ren by Picture This Plus, 1/2 with the call for threads. And because it's Friday the 13th, I picked up, just for a little bit, I was going to do this video earlier. Something happened and that wasn't possible, and I had started, first thing this morning, I started working on this. Then I was going to do the video. When I couldn't do the video, I didn't want to continue working on it yet because I didn't want to have to iron it again. But this is called Early Witches by The Primitive Hare. This was a stitch along back in 2014. And this is on a mystery fabric. I think it was a mystery fabric back when I started it in 2014, and it's still a mystery fabric. And I'm stitching it 2/2 with Anchor Black so far, and otherwise DMC. So this morning I put this piece in. So tonight I'll go ahead and I'll finish filling that in, and I'll come over and fill this one in. This says 1692, and they're both filled in with the black. And then I will, if I get that done, I will go ahead and start downward. Hold please. Every video I drop something. Next up is Mansion at Fox Hollow with Thy Needle and Thread. And what have I done with the photo? Oh no. Not sure if it's in here. Okay, well, I have a photo that I printed off from Spring Green with all my scribbles on it. It will look something like this when complete. Not sure what I did with the chart photo. Find that. And when you last saw it, I've made good progress on this one. When you last saw this, I had the building done. I didn't have the windows in. I was working on the door. I had part of the roof done, so I completed the windows, completed the door, completed the roof, and started in on the motifs on the top. This one is being stitched on 30 count parchment by Weeks Dye Works, 2/2, with the call for Weeks and Gentle Arts threads. I'm hoping to continue on with this to a finish, would be my best laid plans. Then my final work in progress is another with thy needle and thread. It's the Jack Frost ornament. I finished the one on my last video and started, but have not yet completed the second one. Almost. Just a few more berries and a few more snowflakes. And this one is being stitched on 36 count Winter Brew by R&R with all the call for over dyes. Oh, I also, my previous second of my 2 red threads was the Black Lives Pin Keep by Modern Folk Embroidery, and I'd hoped to have it fully finished, but this, I do have it partially constructed, but this is slow going. What I didn't think about last time was you have to stitch around each piece like with a back stitch, so that when you stitch it together you can catch those back stitches in, and that took a while to stitch around all 3 parts, but I'm going to continue on with it to put this one on and then the other round piece. So hopefully, fingers crossed, have that complete soon. Those are all of my works in progress for this time around, but I do have 2 finishes, and my first one is it's called A Stitch in Time. It's a pinball and needle and scissor keep. So pinball, needle, and scissor keep. Last time I had completed the scissor keep part, the needle keep part, and was working on the pinball, which these 2 are identical. And this is being stitched on 30 count gunmetal by Weeks Dye Works, and I finished, I think it was this one I was working on, using the called for floss. And this one was stitched 1/2. And then my final finish of this time is Grace Bridges by Stacy Nash. This was a 2019 Mania start. And the last time you saw it, I had completed the house, the tree, the peacock, and I think maybe a couple of these motifs. So I just had this down in this corner to do. And this is being stitched on 35 count parchment by Weeks Dye Works 1/2. And here, I don't know if I can hold it, is my finish. I thought that I had forgotten something because of this negative space in here, but nope, that's how it's supposed to be. Very happy to have that one finished. So that brings us to what I purchased this month. And I didn't really plan on having any purchases this month, but my daughter and I went to Kansas City, and then we went ahead and went to, Lee Summit, which is right next to Kansas City. And we went to, look at this adorable bag, Quilter Station, which is not just about quilting, even though I could have spent a full day there. So I picked up a few cross-stitch items and some fabric and some wool. So the first thing I picked up, which I can't believe I didn't have this in my library of charts. It's from 2010. It's called A Sparrow's Song by With Thy Needle and Thread. It not only has the cross stitch, but it has the wool mat and the punch needle Garden Angel. So I felt very lucky to find that. And then I had my eye on this, and be kind to one another. This is the companion piece to Due Diligence, or Be Exceedingly Diligent, I can't remember, which I also have and have not even started, and by Needlework Press. I also was lucky enough to find some fabric by Fibers on a Whim, all very muted colors. Cream and Sugar, 36 count. Affogato, also 36 count. And Cappuccino, 36 count. Sorry, they're still in the packages, but see, they're all very similar. Very good sampler colors. But because I do a little bit of quilting, I couldn't resist their fabrics. And I will not show you all of them, but just a variety of them. And well, okay, maybe I will show you all. A lot of black and a lot of cream. Just some absolutely gorgeous ones. And you might wonder, what am I going to do with these? Well, years ago when I lived in Virginia, and I was down at Virginia Beach one day, and I was waiting for a client, and I just popped into this store. There was a quilt in the window, and I popped into the quilt shop and asked about it, and she was like, oh, you have to order that from her website, I think, but it's called Soot and Ashes. And this photo is not a good photo of it. If you go online and Google that, you will see a much better photo. It's by Sherry, C-H-E-R-I, Payne, P-A-Y-N-E, and it calls for the whites, the blacks, and the grays. So someday I'm just in the collecting mode right now, but someday I will put that together. And then I just bought some wool. But like I said, it was a beautiful shop, and I would love to go back sometime when I have more time to just wander around the store endlessly. I was doing some cleaning and sorting the other day. I used to make primitive dolls and sell those in Williamsburg, Virginia, at a store called Country Treasures, I think was the name of it, on Consignment. And I was going through those patterns and just kind of storing them away because I'm not really doing that type of sewing anymore. And while I was going through those patterns, I found something from With Thy Needle and Thread that I purchased clearly years ago. And this has a copyright of 1999. And it's called Bird in Hand. It is an embroidery pattern. I don't know if this is still in her shop, which is countrystitchesonline.com. But I went so far as to trace out with that nasty blue pen, the washout pen, on here to do it, and I never have. So I won't do this method, but I think this is something that I do want to make. And it says, if we keep a green bough in our heart, a singing bird will come. And that's an old proverb. Get a closer up of that. But I think it's timeless. So that might be a winter start for me. Get back to my embroidery days. I just thought it was fun. What else? Oh, so my son and I like to go to this consignment shop, for lack of a better word. It's called Itchies. I call it Itchies and Scratchies here in our town. And I never find anything cross-stitch. I never find anything quilting or cross-stitch. But one day I ran across this, and I think it was like $3. It was out of the frame, and I couldn't leave it there. It's been masking taped onto cardboard. This mat feels very stuck. I will try to probably take it off. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I might make a pillow. I don't know. We'll see. It's stitched on what looks like a 14 count Aida, but it's Saturday Evening Post. It's timeless. So I felt very lucky to have found that. And then today, my mailman delivered a parcel from the Shepherd's Needle, and I thought I would wait and open it with you guys. Look how beautiful it's packaged. And I love this toile. They were having, and may still be having, an exclusive. And I think this is what is in this package. Oh, and they sent a little thread card. It's the Mary Ann Aldred exclusive kit by Needlework Press. And I think the moment they listed it, I got on and said, yes, please. So, if it's an exclusive, I have a really hard time saying no. So it's packaged very nicely. I got the 40 count fabric. My goodness, that's some strong tape. Vintage Country Mocha 40 count. They send you a needle. Here are the called for flosses. They also included a pen key from Sampling of Memories. So cute. And the design is the design of the chart. And then let me this is what the chart looks like. And it says, to do to others as I would that they should do to me will make me honest, kind, and good as children ought to be. So I'm happy to have this in my collection. So thank you, Anne at Shepherd's Needle and Needlework Press, for a beautiful piece to stitch. Okay, that brings us to our 8,000 subscriber celebration. And I happen to have an extra copy of this. It's brand new. I have my own copy. And I thought that maybe one of you would like to have it. So I'm going to give away Blackbird Design for my friend. For this, I will ship anywhere in the world. It would be nice if you were a subscriber, but I'm not going to check. Make sure that you don't use any of the keywords of giveaway, free, win, but use the word friend. Because I consider all of you my friends. There are some beautiful pieces in here, along with recipes for some cookies, it looks like. What else? Let me see if I can show you. That's adorable. Then we have this, which there may be a better photo of that. Yes, right here. Sampler. And yummy looking cookies. And let me see. This chart goes on this box. And a few more. So again, if you would like to be entered in the drawing for that, please use the word friend. And I will draw for that on my next video, which hopefully will be in 2 weeks, but no promises because I start back to work on the 17th and it's going to be crazy busy. Now, I think that is all for that. I have had a couple of questions about my thread books and journals, so I thought that I would briefly show you what those are like. I have posted some on my Facebook page, which is Primitive Stitcher on Facebook. If you're not interested in seeing those, I just want to say thank you for visiting. I hope you are enjoying this part of the summer, that you're getting lots of stitchy time, that the weather is cooperating with you. Ours has been crazy hot, but that's okay. I can stay inside and stitch. And I hope that you are getting lots of stitching time. If you're staying, then I will show you a little bit close-up of first the thread book, because that's what I seem to get the most questions about. I make these all by hand, and they're time consuming, and I only sell them on my Facebook page. So this is just one example. There are many different designs. Currently I have Halloween thread books up, but in the next few days I hope to get some other thread books up. So this is what this is the front, and there's always a decorated back cover. They're made out of thick chipboard. They have the bookbinder rings, and then when you open them up, there's going to be 2 library cards where you can list the name of your project and the different flosses. And what I do is I list the floss and I put the symbol by it. And then there are 10 floss away bags that I have put a card in. So ideally you could put 1 skein of floss in on each side of the page, so you could put 20 skeins in here. And when I make out my library card, if it's DMC, I put them in numeric order, or if it's overdyed, I put them in alphabetical order, and then I filled the floss away bags in that same manner, either numeric or alphabetic. That way you can just flip it, you know, knowing that it's in alphabetical order. The nice thing, why I decided to make these was for personal reasons, but I just lay this on the arm of my stitching chair and I can flip through. I like to have, for each color of floss in a project, I thread a separate needle. And when I'm finished with that color in that moment, I don't have to take the thread out of the needle. I can just drop it into the bag, close it back up. I know that that needle's not going to go anywhere. It's going to stay in there, and it's going to be ready for me when I get ready to stitch with that color again. If I cut a skein, cut a piece of floss, and I'm only using 1 strand, I don't have to rewind that on a bobbin or put it back on a floss card. I can just pop it back into the page again. And I mean, I do kind of like roll it up around 2 fingers and into a circle and put it in there, so I know which piece is ready to go. But it's just so easy and convenient. So that's my thread books, and those are $10 on my Facebook page. My journals, again, I've been keeping a stitching journal forever, and I don't know, how did I get started making them for sale? I think it was the first Midwest retreat that I went to. Michelle asked if anyone would be interested in making journals to sell there, and no one said me. And finally I'm like, okay, I can make some. And that started my journey into making journals for someone else. They come with a clip to hold them closed or to hold your spot, and I put various charms on the clip depending on what the journal looks like. This happens to be one of my favorite ones that I've made recently. This is French general paper. I do have some of these left. This particular French general paper is no longer available, so it's a very limited supply, but I have journals from that line both in red, the red color, and the blue. This just happens to be one of my favorite in the blue version. So you open it up, and oh shoot, I was gonna bring, I can't believe I didn't write this down. It's on my, is it on my Facebook page? If it's not, I'll put it on. Anyway, you open it up, it says my stitch journal, and then I'll just show you the pages. Pretty much are all like this. They have different images on them. Some have no images, but it lists out the chart title, the designer, the fabric that you're using, the fibers, any miscellaneous information that you want to put, your start date, and your completion date. And I think there are something like somewhere between 32 and 38 opportunities for you to document that. See, I left some of them blank on purpose down here so that if you wanted to take photographs with the little mini photos, you could add those in. And there are usually a paper clip of some sort in there for you. Then we will skip on to some places, or whether 2 pages with just lines for you to write whatever. Maybe you want to write places that you've been, stores you've been to, contact information. You're also going to get what I call a pencil board, and it's for you to put behind the page that you're writing on to give you a little bit harder surface. So that comes with it. And again, another clip that's clipped in. So basically the pages are, okay, so there's one totally blank page there, again, for photos or just for journaling your thoughts. And then that's the back, that's the front, inside cover, and the back. So for those of you who had questions about that, that's how that works. And those are also, like I said, on my Facebook page, both in the red versions and the blue versions of the French General paper line that I'm so sad is discontinued. I have another French General line that is not, I don't think is as nice as this one, but we'll see. Maybe I will try to do something with that. So that's it. For those of you who were asking for a closer view of what they were like, if you want to see more, just go visit my Facebook page. So that's going to wrap up. Oh my gosh, I'm at 41 minutes. So sorry about that. I hope you all are having a good day, having lots of good stitchy time, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.